All right, so are you ready to jump into this? Let's dive into this Lions playoff loss.
Heartbreaker.
Commanders, man. We've got 2 articles here breaking it all down. And it goes, it goes way deeper than the score.
Yeah, way deeper. I mean, this wasn't just a loss, right? It was, they had a dream season, and then this. This was a collapse. 15 wins.
15.
The number 1 seed, home field advantage.
Everyone in their, brother thought they were going all the way.
I know, I did know.
Me too. And, being a Lions fan, this one probably stings a little extra, right?
A little bit.
Given, their history.
For sure.
So let's unpack this thing. What actually went wrong? One of the things that I saw, immediately, Amick Robertson, out. Less than 2 minutes in, arm injury.
Oh, yeah, that was rough.
Collided with Jack Campbell, tackling Terry McLaurin.
Yeah, one of the articles pointed out that was kind of a recurring theme this season.
Yeah, injuries.
Yeah. It plagued them all year.
It was like a Rumen or something. But even with that, I was blown away by how well the Commanders' offense played. Jaden Daniels, rookie quarterback, almost 300 yards, 2 touchdowns, 91.8 QBR.
Yeah, everyone was surprised.
It surprised me.
Yeah. One of the articles I was reading was diving into how they used pre-snap motion to confuse the Lions' defense. And it really gave Daniels some easy reads. So he might have exceeded expectations, but you got to give the Commanders' coaching staff some credit too, putting him in a position to succeed.
Right, for sure. And it wasn't just Daniels, right? De'Ami Brown, 6 catches, 98 yards. They had multiple receiving threats, man. Kept the Lions' D on their heels. But one of the articles I was looking at, 0 sacks on Daniels. Was there no pass rush? What was going on there?
The article pointed to a couple of things. The Commanders' O-line, they played lights out, but the Lions also seemed to kind of abandon their blitz packages that were so effective during the regular season. Mm-hmm. So maybe they were just overthinking it.
Yeah, maybe they just let the pressure get to them, right?
Yeah. Speaking of pressure, we got to talk about the Lions' defense. 45 points. Woof. Rough. Especially for a unit that was, so good during the regular season.
Yeah, total head scratcher.
Yeah.
One of the articles mentioned Aaron Glenn, Lions defensive coordinator.
Yeah.
Getting some buzz as a potential head coach. But after a game like this, gonna raise some eyebrows.
Definitely. And then there was that brutal 12 men on the field penalty. Crucial 4th down. Commanders touchdown. 10-point lead. It just, killed the momentum.
It was a microcosm of the whole game. They just couldn't get out of their own way.
Yeah.
The defense wasn't the only one that struggled. Jared Goff, really uncharacteristic game.
Yeah. 3 interceptions, a fumble. Those turnovers led to 21 points for the Commanders. He even owned up to it, saying, I'm going to quote him here, "I wish I played a little bit better. Wish I could have taken care of the ball a little bit better. Obviously, the pick 6 is really the one I'd really like back. That was just a poor decision by me, But still, it's such a contrast to the poise we saw from Daniels.
Yeah. It really is. So was Goff cracking under the playoff pressure, or did the Commanders' D just, completely shut him down?
Probably a bit of both.
Yeah.
But I keep going back to what Dan Campbell said last year after that playoff loss.
Yeah.
It was something about, how tough it is to even get back to the playoffs.
Yeah.
Almost like it was their only shot. Which, maybe that's the lesson they learned here, right?
Yeah.
That regular season success doesn't guarantee anything in the playoffs. Every team you face, they're bringing their A game.
It's a whole nother beast. Every play is do or die, right? One mistake and, you're going home. It's like you said, this wasn't just a loss.
It was a collapse.
It was a collapse.
Yeah.
And that kind of makes this deep dive even more interesting, right? We're not just looking at a bad game.
Right.
We're trying to figure out how a team with this much potential just poof, disappears.
Yeah.
On the biggest stage. So far we've seen, injuries, coaching decisions, maybe even the weight of all those expectations, right? But there's more to uncover here.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
So what else do these articles reveal about the Lions' playoff meltdown? Stick with us.
Welcome back. So we've been picking this playoff loss apart, trying to make sense of it all. But as we kind of go deeper into these articles, this game raises some bigger questions about the team's future. You know what I mean?
It does. It really does. Because even with this loss, they had an incredible season. 15 wins. That's not a fluke.
No, not at all. This team they're talented. They've got a solid foundation, and they've got Dan Campbell, who's I mean, he brought a whole new energy to Detroit.
You can feel like the belief, like he's really instilled that in them.
Yeah.
Like they believe.
Absolutely. But the big question is, can they build on this season, or will they slip back into old patterns? I mean, the Lions haven't exactly been known for like sustained success.
Right. That's what worries me. Like, haven't we seen this before? Like, there's a glimmer of hope, and then PFFT. So let's look at some specifics. The defense, they were phenomenal during the regular season. Then, bam, they just completely fell apart.
Yeah, it's a puzzle, right? One article was suggesting maybe they were just outcoached by the Commanders. Or maybe the pressure just got to them. It even suggested that, and this is a tough one, maybe the defense just wasn't as good as we all thought.
Oof. I don't want to believe that.
Yeah.
But, I mean, the way they played, it does raise some doubts. What about Aaron Glenn? I mean, one of the articles mentioning he's a hot candidate for, like, head coaching jobs. But after this,
Yeah, it's going to raise some eyebrows for sure. I mean, if he leaves the Lions, they're going to need to find a replacement that can, keep that same defensive energy.
Oh, sure, yeah. Okay, and then there's the Jared Goff question. He was solid during the regular season, but in this playoff game, it's like he was a completely different quarterback.
I know. Those turnovers were brutal. 3 interceptions, a fumble, led to 21 points for the Commanders. I mean, you can't win playoff games like that.
And Goff is a veteran. I mean, he's been to the Super Bowl. He knows what it takes to win these big games, right? So what was it? Was it the pressure? Did the Commanders' defense just rattle him? Or is this a sign that maybe he's not the long-term answer?
Those are the questions that, the Lions front office is going to be wrestling with this offseason. They need to, take a hard look at the roster, figure out the strengths, the weaknesses, and figure out what moves they need to make.
To get better, yeah.
To get better, yeah. And they can't just be focused on next season, right?
Yeah.
I mean, they got to build a team that can compete for championships.
Yeah.
For years to come.
It's a tall order, but it's not impossible. I mean, they've shown that they can do it. They have the potential.
They've shown flashes of brilliance.
Yeah,
absolutely.
They have.
Yeah.
But, potential only gets you so far.
Exactly. Now it's about turning that potential into, consistent, sustainable success. And that's the challenge for the Detroit Lions. But this deep dive, it's not just about dissecting a loss. It's about understanding what this loss tells us about the team and its future. Yeah. So we've talked about the disappointment, the what ifs, the areas that need improvement. But these articles, they also highlighted some positives.
They do. And in the next part, we'll explore what this season's success could mean for the Lions moving forward. So stay with us.
All right. So we've spent this whole deep dive, picking apart this loss, trying to figure out what went wrong for the Lions. But I think we'd be, kind of remiss if we didn't at least mention the positives.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, this team, they accomplished something really special this season. We can't let this one loss overshadow everything, right?
Yeah. 15 wins, the division title, #1 seed, that doesn't just happen. Nope. Speaks to their hard work, their talent, and that belief that, Dan Campbell has instilled. And for the fans, they've been through some rough seasons. This was huge.
Yeah. It gave them hope, right?
Yeah.
It showed them that this team can play at the highest level. And that's something to hold on to, even after a loss like this. One of the articles even pointed out that this season, it just felt different. It wasn't just about the wins. It was the way they were winning.
That's a great point. They were gritty. They were resilient. They never gave up. And that resonated with the fans.
Yeah. They had that never say die attitude. We haven't seen that from the Lions in a long time.
It's a direct reflection of Dan Campbell. He's brought a new identity to this team.
Yeah. And that identity, that fighting spirit, that's something they can build on, One of the articles called it a cultural reset. So even though they came up short, they've laid the groundwork, for something special.
Exactly. I mean, even the best teams face setbacks, right?
Yeah.
It's how you respond that defines you.
Yeah. So the big question is, will they let this loss define them? Or will they use it as fuel to come back stronger next season?
I think they'll use it as fuel. I mean, they have the talent, the coaches, and most importantly, the hunger, right?
Yeah.
To prove themselves.
And that hunger, that desire to prove everyone wrong, that's what makes them so exciting to watch.
They're on a mission. And this loss, as painful as it is, it might just be, a stepping stone.
Yeah, on their journey.
Yeah.
So for all you Lions fans out there listening, don't lose hope. This season might not have ended the way you wanted, but it's just the beginning of a new chapter.
Yeah, a chapter filled with with potential and the belief that the Lions, they're destined for big things.
Absolutely. And on that note, I think we're going to wrap up this deep dive. We dove into the disappointment, but we also found some reasons for optimism, right?
We did. We explored the factors that led to their collapse, but we also saw the heart, the grit, the potential that could lead them to success in the future.
Thanks for joining us as we, explored the highs and lows of this Lions season. We'll be back soon with another deep dive into something else. Until then, keep exploring, keep learning, and keep diving deep.